Hello, welcome back to Breakfast Central. The Nigerian Customs Service recently announced a hike in licensing fees and a shift in valuation methodology to free on board or FOB. That means consumers could be paying more for imported goods, and the ripple effect could be brutal for citizens.
From food to electronics and even cars, the cost of living is already sky high. So what does this new policy mean for everyday Nigerians? And is this the right move in an economy already gasping for breath? Joining us for this discussion this morning is the founder, President, Kosofe Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mr. Joe Femi-Dagunro. Good morning, sir. Good to have you.
Good morning. Good morning.
So, I mean, it sounds like numbers to those who are not business owners. Just this morning, I had shared with our group a business person who was lamenting the 4% FOB, saying that shipping companies could not ship, her goods were stuck. So I want you to give us a picture, the practicality of what this means for business persons, everyday business persons in Nigeria.
You see, basically, there was a time that this program, this FOB, this levy, was shelved, if you remember, some time ago.
Yeah.
And bringing it up now, people are wondering, is it the right time to bring it up? Because prices will go up again. You know, recently we are thinking that, okay, with the inflation not rising as before, the inflation is coming, inflation is, going down, and people thought, okay, this would be a good thing for the economy. But right now, when you increase it, it's a simple arithmetic or mathematics, whichever way you want it. Add 4% to whatever you are having in prices. You see, the price will rise, whether it's in naira of 1,000 or in hundreds of thousands. So the people will now have to pay more, and the more they pay, the more it affects their pockets. And when people cannot afford to, maintain their livelihood again, then they come back to where we are coming from, and the inflation will surely rise again. So, and now we are cautiously optimistic about these statistics coming out about inflation, about all these things we're talking about. But I think it is not the right time for us now to increase any levy, because we're just coming out of so many things. And, the government might have good intention to do a lot of all these things, but you can't achieve all at the same time. So I would rather think, even if you want to increase, let it be in phases. Let it be at a time whereby people, Christmas is quite around the corner if you look at it, September before now, and then prices will rise, and children are going back to school, and people will have to pay more. So there's a lot. I think, and I would have hoped that this is not the right time to increase this levy.
Okay. I think another concern that we had was the manner in which this increase will be carried out or will be implemented. So part of the reason, and I'm going to ask if this is any defense, you say it's not the right time, but is it any defense to say that this is done because a number of importers, business people have found a way to cheat the system because they declare prices that are not the actual cost? So I want to find out, is there a way that this 4% will be calculated? I've heard that regardless of what you declare, that the customs will be the one to determine what the actual cost of the good is, and then implements their own 4% on top. That assumed costs that they have come to the conclusion. So is that correct? Is that position correct? And is it any defense that they're doing this to be able to cut short those who have tried to manipulate the system for their own benefit?
Well, even before now, this is something that has always been. And I wonder what mechanism that has been put in place. So if the customs have to find out what price a particular product is, I don't know whether they have the price list of all the products coming in from wherever, and they have to determine that. The transparency is what we need. We need transparency. How do we justify what price an importer is bringing his good from there? This is just FOB. By the time, people now realize that they have to pay more, definitely there might be some arrangements here and there, to beat the customs. But then there must be transparency in this thing. If there's transparency and people, you say you want to use the money generated to do a lot of things. We've been hearing a lot of that. Don't forget, the government at some point gave a kind of waiver to sort of products. If you are saying there are some products that have to be, maybe luxurious products, luxury products, and then people will understand, but not the things that will affect the daily life of our people. And that's what people are complaining about. And people will look at it and look, this government is not listening to them, because at one point you said, okay, they can bring these products in, rice and a couple of that, and I don't know whether that is in, but a waiver was given. What about those who are manufacturing? Those who are manufacturing, we have to bring raw materials, they have to bring spare parts to repair the machineries, and these are the things that will go back into the cost of manufacturing, and then it will be transferred onto the consumers as well. So if there's transparency from the manufacturer down to our Papa port or whichever any of these ports we are talking about, then I think it won't be a problem at all.
Now, the vehicle dealers, freight forwarders, they're reporting total clearing costs have jumped from 30 to 40% of the car value. What are you seeing in the Lagos markets, Tokumbo segment, especially on how much that spike is the 4% FOB levy on them? Who will bear the brunt of this? And is it also, I mean, the Department of Customs, the Nigerian Customs Service, are they there to just declare record revenue generated in this quarter or that quarter, or facilitate trade?
Well, basically, you see, customs all over the world have to generate revenue. Let's get us straight. But when you are looking at the so-called Tokubo market, it is something annoying to a lot of people, because most young men and women cannot afford to buy cars these days. The price has skyrocketed, and even those the so-called local second-hand cars, the prices have gone up, and that's why you see that most of the guys who are doing Uber and all these other hail riding processes and all that, they are complaining because cost of maintaining the car is high, cost of buying the cars are high. In those days, you buy a car with about 1 million or 2 million. So that same car now, we go for about maybe 8 million. I mean, where's the money? And if you go to the bank as well, you are getting 30 to 36%, almost 40% interest rate. So a lot of things are culminating into this. You can say, the government is trying one side to make things work, but at the end of the day, at the other side, they are trying to take it away from the people, and that is what is really confusing. I think we have to begin to make sure that, let's give this breathing space. If within the next 2 years you say, look, this is what we are going to do, and this is how we're going by it, that will be fine. But when you see the chairman of these customs, whatever, in the National Assembly said it should start immediately. I mean, you don't start something like that immediately.
Why does there seem to be a disconnection between the authorities and what ordinary Nigerians are going through? They do know that we're still reeling from the effect of fuel subsidy, the unification of the floating of the naira and what have you. For them to now want to add this to the burden of ordinary Nigerians, knowing that, I mean, even local, the innocent cars, brand new made in Nigeria car is beyond the reach of maybe 90% of the population. So what's the thinking behind it? Is it just revenue generation?
Don't forget that even in innocent car, we have to bring some spare parts, so he has to pay this 4% as well. So it's not as if it's, unless there's a special waiver for him that, look, since you are manufacturing or assembling the cars. But the point is this, how many of our people, of our leaders, are driving that innocent cars or innocent SUVs? How many of them? So it still doesn't bother them to really say, look, we are feeling it. And you see, this is one of the things people will be complaining about. If politicians are supposed to take loans and buy their cars and pay within 4 years, I think that will be a difference.
All right, let's hold on for a bit. We need to go on a very quick break, and when we come back, the conversation continues this morning. Please stay with us.
Back, and thanks for staying with us here on Breakfast Central. We're taking a look at the 4% FOB, which is driving a lot of businesses going, wild, and wondering how they will be able to indeed maintain their balance in this very stiff economic challenges. Well, our guest is still here, and we're looking at what this will mean for every single Nigerian business. But most importantly, let's start off as we also continue this second round of the conversation around the 4% FOB. Now, I remember I did ask this question last week when we had a guest join us. It's obvious that the House of Reps and also, I mean, the Assembly, there's always a budget for the Nigerian Customs Service. There's always a budget. And this year, the budget was going to about 1.32 trillion naira. Recently, the Customs Service said that they are looking to revamp their models of operation, you know, and then ensure that they do new things, and therefore they need more money. Is this as a means of getting more money? That's why they have to tax Nigerians with the 4% FOB. And what impact will this have negatively going forward, starting from immediately as we speak, on every single Nigerian business?
Well, basically, like you said, you know, the immediate thing, you feel it because manufacturers, importers, and traders generally, we increase their price. You know, because if, you know, I spoke to a couple of people and they're already increasing their prices, knowing that the next stock that will be coming in, the prices will be high. So it's not as if it will take another 3 or 4 months before you start feeling the impact. You will feel the impact right from now because, you know, the people are smart enough to understand the fact that, look, if I bring my goods in August and you're already charging me, so the next one I should be able to increase so that I will meet up the cost. So that's the problem we're having. And the thing is this, if you're looking at the budget, yes, the customs, like I said, they are supposed to generate revenue into the federal government accounts, which is real, which is all over the world the same way. But the point is there must be transparency in all this. So if you want to improve technologically, whichever way you look at it, then you must be able to look at the fact that, you know, this is part of your budget, or you are going to improve. When? Is it because you generate this money now that it has to be improved upon, or the government has already planned this is what we are going to do and they have included that in the budget that will be approved? So these are the things that we need transparency, you know, to make sure that, you know, people will understand, people will accept the fact that we need to do things right, but they don't just want this, you know, ad hoc thing, just jump on them and say, look, we're going to do it right now, and immediately you want the people to comply. These are the issues. Give them time frame. Spare this thing, they spare them this hurdle of, you know, at the same time, look at it is written in the newspaper that even the clearing agents, they have to increase the cost of renewing their licenses, yes, the cost of, you know, yes, so you have put a lot of money.
And the increases are like, I'll try as much as possible to get it through.
So you are increasing a lot of burden.
I wanted to ask, you said something, you said maybe they should look into it and give more time.
Right.
But the federal government, in its own fairness, would say that
right,
in April 2023, right, before late former President Muhammadu Buhari left office, he had suspended it.
Right.
He had suspended the 4% FOB. And current President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in February 2025, also suspended it.
That's
so
right.
now, in fairness, they would say, are you expecting us to suspend it all over again?
You know, when I say give them a lot of time, you know, did you tell them when you suspended that at so time we are bringing it up? That's another thing we have to look. If you suspend it and say, look, we're suspending it for 6 months or for 9 months or for 1 year, and we're bringing it up, people would have prepared. So you don't just suspend and, you know, at your own time as well, you bring it up again. So I think, I'm not sure if they inform the masses or the public that this will be suspended till so time, and then we'll bring it up. If that was done, I don't think we'll be complaining that much, because we already know that in 6 months' time or in 1 year's time, we are going to have to pay this. So this is what I'm saying, that give them enough time, and, you know, you can say, okay, give this 4%, and it's okay. Within this period of time, you are not paying it. Then after some time you start paying. I think people will have been prepared. But when you say you are increasing the cost of licensing, cost of this, cost of that, all at the same time, and people will now begin to say, where are we again? Where are we? You know, if you suspend it for that period, you know, there are a lot of things going on. Honestly, I know that the government has to do a lot of things, but I think the most important thing is this: a lot of mess has been created for this government, and they are trying to, you know, do a lot of things to better the revenue. So, but then they have to make sure that the people are well informed. There must be an orientation program. There must be a lot of, you know, engagement with the stakeholders. And the stakeholders will engage themselves and begin to look at it. I think there's need for more engagement, and not to just be reading most of these things from the newspaper. You don't just wake up in the morning and you know that you have to pay 4%. You know, if you go to the market, the supermarket, and you discover that your cost of bread has gone from 2,000 to about 2,500, you wouldn't be happy as well.
Of course we won't be happy. I mean, with inflation already at double
right,
digits, and this is obviously going to further put pressure on the cost of goods and services. There are also those who, you know, argue that the neighboring countries like Ghana and Benin are offering cheaper and faster port services. What would you say the implication of this would be for us as a country in terms of businesses? Do you see that this may maybe push more Nigerian cargo to foreign ports? What would the implication of this be in the long term?
Well, even if you do that, you are still coming back through the borders. You know, and as long as you come through the borders, you still have to pay. So I think, in effect, it's better we develop our ports and make sure that they're functional. I mean, you have a lot of ports around Nigeria. You have the Warri, Port Harcourt, and Calabar, and now Ibom. I don't think they've started. But you have to make sure that this thing functions very well. Are they really functioning the way they should? It's only Lagos that everybody you know, directs their goods to. So why don't we make other ports function well so that there won't be this pressure on Lagos, there won't be this pressure on the roads in Lagos. So a lot of all these things have to be done. But as it seems we are spending damn too much for this little time with people. I must say that, you know, the president has to go through a lot, and I think this is one of the things. There must be transparency, there must be connection between the stakeholders, and people must be informed before, must be engaged. I mean, I don't just think it is right for us to just wake up in the morning. Businesses just have to, I mean, feel the pain and then pass the pain on to the consumers.
Right. Thank you so much
Tough
for
situation,
joining us and sharing this thoughts. It's a pain point for a lot of Nigerian businesses. And like they say in social media parlance, it go touch everybody. It's not just the Nigerian businesses that will feel the impact. The everyday Nigerian who has to make purchases will also feel the impact of this. And like you said, the government needs to call stakeholders to have these conversations and then revisit this and maybe look for better ways to implement this, maybe space this out or give them some more time and let people know so that they can make better plans towards this. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.